we have with us Pastor Ron Sinclair from the Bridgeport Community Church to do the invocation.
Let's pray. God of winter wonders and the spring we all hope to see come, we thank you for the safety of those gathered here tonight. We ask for your guidance for the leaders and citizens of this community as we consider the issues that are before us. We pray for your protection for those who respond to those in crises. We also plead for your mercies for the leaders and citizens of this great state and nation, so that all who reside here may lead responsible lives spared of want and danger. As we continue to receive these gifts, we offer our praise through the one who is of your own choosing. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. All right, so we pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, do the roll call, please.
Gutierrez. Here. Thayer. Anderson. Wilson.
Here.
LaShore.
Here.
Secord.
Here.
Townsend.
Here.
Miller. Here. We have a quorum.
Okay. I have a motion for the adoption of the agenda.
I move that we approve the adoption of the agenda as presented.
Second.
Any questions? Any corrections? Motion been made and seconded to approve the agenda for the evening. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none.
Motion's carried.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes of the January 6, 2015 regular meeting.
I move then that we approve the minutes of the January 6, 2015 regular meeting as presented.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported to approve the minutes of the January 6, 2015 regular meeting. Everybody had a chance to read them over. Any corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None.
Motion's carried.
No special orders, so we'll go to public comment. Anyone would like to make public comments because you've got to talk about whatever.
Good evening. I'm Cheryl Hatzel, your county commissioner. Glad to be here. We started our new year at the Board of Commissioners on January 2nd, like we're mandated to. And we elected Mike Hanley as our chair again. We only had one change on our Board of Commissioners this year, and Katie Greenfielder, who didn't run from the Chesaning area. And we elected a girl by the name of Katie Kelly, who lives in Swan Creek. So our board stayed just about the same this year. We're working on a few things, and most of it has to do with public safety, which we're all concerned about. As you probably know, we decided not to run our public safety millage in May. We talked about it. We looked at it. We have 2 millages that are going to be up next year. And we thought maybe we would run it in May, but we didn't really have enough time to even put the ballot language together because we had to do it by January 27th. So we decided we're just going to do it all next year. So you won't see anything on the May ballot from the county. We also hired a company called GGA, and they are doing a jail assessment for us. And we talked to them this afternoon, and within 90 days they're going to give a report back to us. As you probably know, our jail is in pretty bad shape. We have some major leaking issues in there in the ceiling and the roof. We have a mechanism issue that it's difficult to shut the doors and lock the doors because they don't make those parts anymore. So we're looking at how we're going to make some improvements. We're not going to build a new jail, but we're looking at how to make some improvements in our jail. And we should have that idea to us within the next 90 days. We also hired a new animal control director, a girl by the name of Leanne. She's out, I forgot her last name, I'm so sorry. I can just think of Leanne Rhymes and that's not it. I just met her at 4 o'clock. She's from Oakland County. She has a degree from, I think, Michigan State University, and she has taken over the reins of our animal control shelter. We've had a lot of problems there in the last 3 years. We haven't passed some of our inspections from the state, so we have some work to do in that building too. So those are some of the things that are on our agenda. And as of 5 o'clock tonight, we did hire a new director of Health Source. And her name is Lisa, and I forgot her last name too, but that is just brand new news that just happened at 5 o'clock today. So those are some of the things that are going on in the county that might pertain to the residents and the people here in Bridgeport. I'll be around after the meeting if you have any questions.
Thank you. You say you can't remember, it makes me feel better too, Cheryl. Okay, would anyone else like to make public comment? Anyone else like to make public comment? One more time, would anyone else like to make public comment? Hearing none, public comment is now closed. Okay, move on to new business. Our resolution R1501, policy for review of assessment records.
I will make the motion to approve R-15-01, policy for review of assessment records as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion been made and seconded to approve resolution 1501, for the policy for reviewing assessment records. Could we have a roll call, please?
Wilson,
Yes.
Ayers absent, Miller, yes. Gutierrez,
Yes.
LaShure,
Yes?
Secord,
Yes.
Townsend.
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Okay. Let me back up just a second here. This was, and I meant to say this before we this is something that was mandated by the state. This is pretty much similar to what we've been doing, but you had to establish a policy. Is that correct, Rose? So now, we've already voted, now we have a policy, so. Okay, we're gonna be changing, we need a motion to amend our board meeting schedule.
I'd like to approve changing the May 5th, 2015 regular board meeting to May 6th, 2015 due to election on May 5th.
Second?
Motion been made and seconded. Cheryl had just mentioned the election in May. I believe the governor is still going to be asking us to increase the sales tax. So because of that being on a Tuesday, we need to move the meeting, which we normally do. But when we saw our schedule for the year, that wasn't on the calendar. So at any rate, any discussion at all?
No?
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll have a meeting on the 6th. Next, we have boards and commission appointments.
I make the motion to approve the boards and commissioners' appointments as presented.
Support.
Okay, motion is made and supported. In this situation, there's 3 appointments. One is Parks and Rec appointment, 3-year term for one of our board members, Jennifer Gutierrez, who requested. The other one is Parks and Recreation, reappointment of John Olds, and then Jennifer will be put on the Road and Dreams. So she is going to ask me to abstain from voting. Okay.
I abstain.
All those in favor of allowing her not to vote?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. So now, we've got the motion made and seconded to approve the appointments. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Excuse me, opposed? Okay. precinct polling change.
I'd like to make a motion to change the precinct 3 polling place from Assumption Church on 7877 Bell Road to Calvary Community Church, 2895 Moore Road, Saginaw, Michigan 48601, due to notification from Assumption Church of their closing.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to change precinct polling place from Assumption Church to Calvary Community Church. Obviously, the church is closed, Assumption Church, so all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'm sure our clerk will be making notification to all those folks. All right.
We're in the process of ordering new, voter ID cards, and everybody will be notified ahead of time. My deputy and I went through that church and made sure that all the facilities were good, and they were good, they were fine. We've got everything that we need there, the handicap parking, the facilities, as far as bathrooms and big enough area, and they were very generous in saying that they actually felt grateful that we considered them to have voting there, so it's really nice. So it'll be good. It's not far from the other polling place, like within a mile, so it won't be that big a change for the people that are in that precinct.
Thank you. Next, we have Fire Chief Nelson regarding the status of our fire truck. Any of you that weren't here, we recently had what they refer to as the heavy rescue truck. Had an electrical fire, and it had to be taken out to a auto truck repair who was authorized to do fire truck repairs, certified. So now we're going to hear what's done.
Okay. Well, there's a couple of things. One, it's nice that we're able to have this discussion because of the assessment. Waiting for the assessment when you give this presentation this evening. As most of you know, you've watched me or heard me give multiple presentations over the years on our fleet. And in 2008, we actually developed a plan to consolidate that fleet, reduce it by one fire truck. To do that, we needed to sell two and purchase one. One that would be a dual-purpose vehicle, would be a fire engine plus carry all the other ancillary equipment that we need. Well, with the economy being what it was, we weren't able to implement that plan. This became one of the three key factors for the assessment. One, the apparatus. Two was the condition of our fire station. And three was equipment such as jaws of life replacement, turnout gear, hose, nozzles, all of those kinds of things. And so those were the three primary reasons and how we got to the amount that we needed for our special assessment. The original projected cost of the project was about $650,000 at the time, and it stayed at that level for several years. And so what we did this year when we had the issue, one, the assessment passed, and number two, we had a second fire in our white truck, our rescue truck. And we had one that's about 6 years ago, we had the first one. The truck has become very unreliable. It's operating today. There's no way to know whether it'll operate for a week or whether we'll get another 6 or 8 months out of it. We don't know that today. But we are having some transmission issues. I don't want to spend a lot of money on that truck. We're trying to minimize any expenditure. As it is, we haven't gotten the bill yet for the fire that just occurred. But the first time we had a fire, it was almost $7,000 to make those repairs. So So the truck is becoming more costly. Every year we're putting more and more money into the apparatus. The truck is 16 years old. The two ladders are 17 years old. They'll be 18 this year. So the truck has aged anyway. We bought the truck new in 2003, and when we bought it, it had well over nearly 50,000 miles on it, and it had responded on average of about 1,500 responses a year on top of that. So it was a busy piece of apparatus. We bought it from Elkridge, Maryland. So the truck was slated to be replaced within 10 years, and we actually kept it nearly 2 years beyond what we initially presented to the board that we wanted to keep the truck for. And again, because of the economy and our inability to get a millage through. Well, with everything that's gone on now, what we did at the last building and grounds meeting, we talked about the building, but I also stated that I would go out and get the new pricing on replacing that apparatus. So that's what you have in front of you this evening. And what we did was we solicited bids from interested truck manufacturers that have the ability to manufacture a piece of apparatus. We developed an 80-page specification. We developed that, we released that specification, and there was nothing in it that disallowed anybody. It was generic enough that any vendor had the ability to submit a bid if they so choose. So a lot of work went into that portion. We received bids back. 2 were from one company for rare apparatus. Another was from a company called KME. And then Spencer Manufacturing in Toyne. Toyne is the company that 9 years ago we bought our most recent fire engine from. Very good company. And we requested that they give us pricing on replacing that apparatus without any discount. So if we just ordered the truck and the day it delivered, we paid them. And then we asked them to provide us with any discounts that they might offer, depending on down payment. So that's what you have in front of you tonight, is that schedule. And it came down to 2 pieces of apparatus that we'd make the recommendation on, Spencer Manufacturing and Toyne. And not just because they're at the lower end of the scale, but because they're 2 very quality fire truck companies. The first 3 you can see, our initial estimate was $650, and as you can see, there's one company that their first choice was still over $600,000. Spencer and Toyne brought the truck in. Toyne is at $523,704 and Spencer at $511,202. So we were able to look at the manufacturers. In some cases, it's the overhead could be different. Ferrera is a huge company. They do a tremendous amount of advertising. They have a very, very large facility, manufacturing plant, many more employees than these other companies, and so their overhead is much higher. So it makes sense that the cost of their apparatus is higher. We received, this is a bid spec, an example. We received one of these for every piece of apparatus, every person that bid, and we went through it line by line to make sure that they could meet or exceed our minimum bid specifications. And they all could. And so when we evaluated the five trucks, it made the most sense to look at Spencer and Toyne because they met or exceeded our expectation, and there just wasn't anything in the more expensive pieces of apparatus to give them consideration. So it came down to those 2. We would like to recommend the Toyne for a couple of reasons. In the end, it's not that much more expensive. We have a lot of history with the company. The apparatus we have today, Engine 9, we've had very, very few issues with that truck. When we have, the company has responded immediately. The customer service has just been outstanding. It also can be repaired and taken care of by our current emergency vehicle technicians that we contract with. So there isn't anything special on the truck that would require a specialized mechanic or having to take it somewhere to be serviced. The chassis on that truck is made right here in Michigan by Spartan Motors in Charlotte. Same type of chassis that we have on Engine 9 now. In fact, side by side, they would be very close looking. The newer one is somewhat taller to give more room in the back of the chassis. We are able to look at, they did exceed the bid specs. For instance, the people that quoted, companies that quoted a extruded aluminum body. They are going to do a form body, and they'll make it stainless steel, which is huge for corrosion. Our quints are all stainless, and those bodies are in perfect condition. 17 years, almost going on 18 years since we had them, which is in phenomenal shape. The inside of the cabinets are in great shape compared to, if you would look at Squad 5, it's 16 years old, that's an aluminum body, it's night and day, the difference between the two. So they not only met the bid spec, they exceeded it. They've increased some of the warranties, the paint warranty, they've increased to 20 years and some other warranties to make it more appealing. So the value, even though they're slightly higher than Spencer, it's still a great value for that piece of apparatus. And again, we have a lot of positive history with the company. We are able to negotiate a discount price depending on how much we'd like to put down up front. We do have the option of just simply waiting until the day the truck arrived, but there's a pretty significant discount if we can give them up to 90% down. So it's something to consider. That's the first recommendation. The second part would be to immediately place one of the aerial ladders up for sale. The market is very good right now. We have, our two aerials are in phenomenal shape. A couple of the people that quoted have told us that there's nothing out there used right now that's anywhere nearly as nice as our two quints. They've always been well maintained. We have all the records on them. I would expect to get anywhere from 135 up to 165 for one of those areas. I think we'll be on the higher end of that. That money would then get immediately applied to this new piece of apparatus. The new apparatus takes somewhere between 7 and 10 months for delivery. Just depends on where we're at in line, how many other orders come in ahead of us. On the low end, about 211 days is what their manufacturing time is right now. Once that truck arrives, then we would dispose of the big white truck. This will downsize our fleet from 4 large pieces of apparatus to 3. It will reduce costs significantly. Some of you may recall, to give you an idea, the insurance on the 2 ladders, one ladder, we spend over $5,000 just for the insurance in that truck annually. Eliminating one of those trucks will drop our insurance annually. The repair costs, these trucks are all out of warranty. The systems on this truck, the warranties will range anywhere from 1 year for minor components up to 20 years. Lifetime on the chassis, lifetime on the water tank, 10 years on the pump systems. So just about everything other than the very minor stuff like lighting will be under warranty for quite a long time. So the repair costs will drop significantly. Down at the bottom, I have noted that this is the truck only. The majority of equipment we need for this piece of apparatus we already own. And we actually own all of it. The difference is we've already scheduled on our equipment line item to replace some hose. We had some 5-inch hose that needed to be replaced this year, some 1 3/4 hose that needs to be replaced. So anything additional, there won't be any additional equipment. Anything that we might purchase separate is already a planned purchase in our budget and in our equipment schedule. And every year, just to give you a background, I sit down with the manager, and every piece of equipment that's on our trucks is on a schedule. It goes all the way out at least 10 years, right down to the flashlights we use. And so every year we sit down in July while we're building our budget, and we look at this, and I reevaluate every piece of equipment. So just because, for instance, I have on here that in 2016 we're going to replace one of our ventilation fans, it doesn't mean we will. Every year we evaluate that equipment. If it's still running properly, if it's still functioning well, then we move it out on the schedule at least 1 more year. Okay? And so anything that we would need to add for this truck is already on this schedule and is a planned purchase and was covered in the assessment. So there would be no additional funds needed.
Pat, I noticed on the schedule here, all of them gave us gave you a price of 100% down.
take 100% because they want you to have a carrot at the end in case there's an issue with the truck. Now, the rest of the manufacturers, for instance, Spencer, they had it as 100%, but they would allow us to retain $5,750. What happens is the truck gets ordered, when the chassis is ready here in Michigan, we would drive down to Charlotte and inspect that chassis and make sure it's right. That chassis then is shipped to the manufacturer, Twine, and they build the body on the back.
Where's that?
On Breda, Iowa. They build the body on the back. And all along that process, everybody, including you, the public, anybody, can go to that website and watch the progress of the truck. And when it's done, then we make a trip and we do a final inspection there. We go through every bit of that truck and make sure it was operational. They then drive it. We don't want to drive it because we take responsibility for it. So we don't want to sign off on it until it's here, and we go back through it again. If there's any training to be done, which on this apparatus is minimal, it has the same pump as Engine 9, has the same foam system, it has a lot of the same systems that Engine 9 already has. So the training on this, literally the day this truck shows up, it will go into service. There's that little training that will need to occur. But they drive it here, they deliver it. At that time when we sign off, that's when we give them the final check. Whatever that balance is. So Tori, they demand you withhold 10%.
You feel in the interim between placing the order and receiving it, you'd be able to sell the ladder truck?
Yes.
And that would be then applied versus, I mean, I'd take a look at how we're going to finance that.
Right.
I know we discussed that at the Buildings and Grounds meeting.
When I did the presentations and I built the cost into the assessment, I factored in a 3% interest rate because that's what we could get from the USDA through a rural development loan. They'll finance any not just buildings now, they'll also do fire apparatus. That's 3.5%. So I factored that in. If we can do a little better than that, then we'll actually still bring the cost down. And when we looked at the assessment, we factored it in at the $650,000. We weren't sure we were able to get. We were very surprised, pleasantly surprised, that we could get this truck in at the level it is. Because as you see, the other ones are closer to that 600 mark, and some of those would have even been higher than that.
So what I'm asking then is with the $509,345, is that a price that they're charging us, or is that the price that you factored in 3.5%?
No, when I did the 3.5%, we set out to determine how much money we needed annually from the assessment to cover vehicles. I factored it on the worst case, which was the $650,000, which at the time was where the quotes were coming in at, the informal quotes.
Understand.
So we've done much better. If you look at the difference from 519 to 650, it's significant.
And I would think we should look at alternatives as far as the financing is concerned.
Yeah, Rose and I have had some discussion about that.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Pat, you didn't mention what you thought the heavy rescue truck would bring as far as money, and is that money going to also go towards that? You mentioned the number on what you thought the aerial truck would sell for. Do you have a guess on the other one, and is that also going to go towards the purchase of this?
Yes, if it's sold, my recommendation would be that it goes towards the purchase. That's difficult because of the second fire, the transmission issues we're having now. I would put it out there and try and sell to a fire department. I don't know if we get any takers, but I've also looked at salvaging that truck. That Detroit engine that's in there is a Series 60 500 horsepower motor. The engine itself is in great shape. We could probably get 15 to 20,000 just for the engine. And so we may be able to sell that, not scrap it, but sell it for salvage and get just about what we would get if we sold it. That whole body's aluminum, and there's value there in that truck, even for somebody that's not a fire department. I'd always wanted to get about 35 for that, so I don't know. I can't answer that today. It'll depend on when we go through it.
Could we get an estimate on how much it would cost to repair the transmission so that it could be sold as a working vehicle?
We can. I think it would be, I would hesitate to look at that truck as a fire chief because it's had 2 fires.
Okay.
I would be hard pressed to even consider that apparatus as an emergency response vehicle. Now, there could be a group, a county dive team somewhere, someplace like that that needs to store a lot of equipment, doesn't need to respond in an emergent manner. They may be interested in it, but again, with two fires, two electrical fires, it's going to be difficult to get somebody to use an apparatus as an emergency vehicle. We're, 7 to 10 months away from that bridge. Unless it has another major issue.
So we've got a couple issues we've got to take a look at, financing aspect of it. It's most important. I say this before, my feeling was that we should go ahead and do it now. Because of the fact that we get the discounts. Plus the fact that we could work out some financing that wouldn't cost us hardly anything. And you factor in if we were to wait 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years down the road, which obviously is a concern now with the status of the truck itself. I would doubt the price would go down in 3 or 4 or 5 years. Inflation, whatever.
That cost goes about 3.5% a year, the average increase on fire, piece of fire damage. Engine 9 that we bought 9 years ago for $270,000 today would cost you somewhere around $350 to $375 for that same. They're expensive.
And as we move forward with this, we have to make it clear to the residents the process that we're using. They did approve an assessment to do these kind of things. Like Jimmy was asking about, will the money be applied to the purchase of the vehicle and that kind of stuff. So we definitely need to get that information out there so people understand why we're doing or why we're open to do what we're going to do, why it's necessary, how their assessment money is going to be spent. Okay. You all set, Pat?
I am, unless you have other questions.
Anybody have any questions? You want to make a motion to move forward?
I can do that. I'd like to make a motion to approve administration to move forward with the fire truck public safety consolidation plan by selling both the heavy rescue truck and an aerial truck, and purchase one truck to replace the 2 trucks, and it's not to exceed $524,000. Looks like it's not gonna be that much, so that's good.
Motion been made and seconded. Sorry, I didn't hear the second. Speak up a little bit. Any further discussion? I think I'll get a roll call on this, please.
There is absent Wilson,
Yes.
LaShore,
Yes?
Miller, yes, Gutierrez,
Yes.
Secor,
Yes.
Townsend,
Yes,
motion is carried.
thank you.
Thank you.
Just another note, we have, now I'm gonna go from memory, I think we have a buildings and grounds meeting scheduled for the 23rd of February. Did I get that right?
Yes.
What did you say, I'm sorry?
We have a buildings and grounds meeting scheduled for February 23rd
It's 6 o'clock.
at 6 o'clock. Wasn't sure if I'd have to go in and check my brain or not, but I guess I got it right. Okay, with that, we'll move along to Township Board.
I'd like to make a motion to approve check number 57764 through 57875 in the amount of $381,665.95 as presented.
And we have support, second.
I just say it was 93 cents,
92 cents.
not 95 cents.
93 cents.
I just thought I had to throw my 2 cents in there.
You got your
No
2
pun intended.
cents.
Did you second that?
Wow, that was
I'll second
bad.
that.
Okay, let me try and get this now. Motion been made and seconded to approve checks 57764 through 57875. $381,665.93. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I believe the amount was really high this time, Rose, and we paid our insurance bill this month.
Yes, we did pay an insurance bill of $100 and
47,600.
yeah.
I'm sorry, are you looking for the amount?
I thought it was 147.
It's $147.06.
Yeah.
No cents.
It was,
No
our
change.
insurance, that was the premium, right?
No cents, yeah.
Yeah.
No cents at all.
Oh, I hope Bill would remember my name. But I remember that. Okay. Jimmy, we'll do some board comment. Jim?
Just, gosh, it's hard to spend that much money, isn't it?
No.
Holy cow. That, but I know that, it wasn't just discussed and decided right here and now. Pat has been awesome about providing the information in every one of our options. And I hope that everybody out there knows how hard that all this was studied. It's not, it's looking at money now and how much money will be then and depreciation and we had our biggest battle with Chief Nelson is he keeps his stuff too clean. The public goes by and looks at it and thinks, boy, it's beautiful. You really don't need anything, but when you get down to the mechanical end of it and when we all got our noses involved with what, yeah, it's time, 16, 17 years old, and boy, when you touch that trigger, you want her to work. So, thank you for all your work on that, Pat.
Jennifer?
I'll second what he said. Thank you for everything that you put into your presentation.
Awesome. Walter?
Great job, Pat. A lot of work went into that, and I'm sure that you did a great job of negotiating too. So, good job. And also thank Cheryl for her report that she gave. Keep us abreast on what's coming our way from the county. And thank the rest of you for, I don't know what to call it, but fighting your way out here after the snowstorm just to get here to this meeting. That's pretty much what I have.
Thank you, Walter. Kelly?
I know that Pat, you put a ton of work in that, and it wasn't decided overnight at all, so, I mean, I'm all about it. It's hard to spend that kind of money, but my house is on fire. I want that thing to turn and get to my house, so, appreciate it, thank you. Festival meeting tomorrow, if anybody's interested, here at the Township Hall. Yeah. That's about all I got.
Darlene?
Yeah, I'm thinking that sounds like a lot of money to most people, but technically, I mean, you're gonna knock at least $150,000 off on that if you didn't get exactly what you wanted with the truck, so that's a good thing too, so at least we're too, and then save with the insurance, so I'm thinking, you definitely done your homework. I'm glad you had this all written down here, so I didn't have to keep notes that long, but thank you very much for your hard work. Thank the police department and all the department heads for all the work that they do through the whole year. We started off a new year, and I hope it's going to be another great year, so thank you.
Rose?
I do, I have a couple things. I had mentioned a couple meetings back about MDOT working with the I-75 going north from the Dixie Highway to north of Hess. Come next month, they're going to remove King Road overpass and they'll detour all the traffic to Baker and Hess. And they hope to have that done, at least the original plan was by Memorial Day. Once they have that done, then they will remove Hess and Baker Road overpasses and detour the traffic over to King Road. So it's a 2-year project from 2015 to 2016, funded by the feds and the state. They'll be adding a lane on the southbound and the northbound. They'll be using their their cement barriers to divert the traffic back and forth. That's about it on that. They're going to put a sound barrier wall up just south of Hess. That's going to be over by BB side, maybe about 10-foot tall wall, going across about 2,000 feet. And then if anybody has any questions on that, they can always come see me. I have more notes on that. Just want to mention Parks and Rec. Bill's wrapped up basketball. He is starting Zumba for anybody that wants to get out and do some workout, starting Wednesday night. It was going to be Monday, but because of the snow, that'll be over at Atkins, so we'll go out there and work. Scrapbooking. He's going to have a scrapbooking all-day event here on Saturday, February 21st from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. for anybody that wants to get into scrapbooking. Competitive, I believe it's called competitive cheerleading. It's got a cheerleading program going on at the middle school right now. The girls like that. I don't know if we have any boys that are signed up in any of that, but he's already booking for the Hardball Classic baseball tournament that's held in July. He's already got a team from Traverse City that's contacted him and Flushing, so from all over Michigan. Summer baseball and softball registrations are coming up, so he's going to be meeting and talking with Franklin, Spalding, Carlton, Birchmont, Millington, and Montrose, and come together with their teams. So that'll be a great thing coming back to us again this summer. Officer Brent Green has been assigned and started working over at the school. The 19th of this month. It's going really well. It's a win-win, not just for the school, but for our whole community. So he's doing a great job over there. Police chief has made a conditional offer of employment for one candidate to fill our full-time spot, one of our full-time spots in the police department. And he is performing background checks right now in which to select a second officer, so he's working on that. Mid-Michigan Waste Authority has informed us that if there is snow event or ice event to where they cannot get down our roads when our pickup is scheduled for Wednesday, they're asking people to take their garbage back up to the house and save it until the following week. They're not going to roll trucks back out the following day or try to get it that Saturday, so that's something new this year. I was over and spent some time with Pat talking about the fire truck and with everything that was said tonight, also thank you for that. There's a lot of work that goes into it. Also some of our guys and there's a couple back there that has spent a lot of time going through books and mounds of papers and specs and so forth to determine what is the best buy for our community and what we need here. So there's a lot of work put into that. So, thank you. As always, when Pat gets something together, I know it's really thorough, so we never have to worry. So, good job. Just want to mention the chamber dinner. Heather Wilson being our Citizen of the Year. It was even on the McDonald's sign. We have one ours, but you're better than your sauce down there. So I thought that was pretty cool. So Firefighter Jerry Childs, I don't see him here tonight. Steve had a meeting, so he's not here. He was our DDA coordinator, or is our DDA coordinator. He was Employee of the Year. Business went to Mike Houlihan down at the subway. Insurance, you talked about insurance tonight in our large check run that we had. Our insurance rates last year was $104,383. They went up to $147,600. A difference of $43,217 this year. Tracy did a lot of work and research, and Norm Bamberger was the best that they could provide us with our insurance again. So we're still with Norm Bamberger. Part of what Norm Bamberger's team offers is a risk management. They come out here once a year, they meet with me, meet with our department heads, and they go through everything. They make recommendations. If they see something that maybe is a little weak or something that could be a liability, they address it. They'll send a full report back to me. I'm waiting for that report to come. So they do everything to help us out. We can't prevent some of the things that happen. Lightning that hit our pump station around King Road, it was over $457,000. The insurance covered most of that. Lawsuits, vehicles get crashed. I mean, our department heads, they know, the employees know to be very cautious, but we still have to operate, and everybody is doing the best that they can. So we're here with the high rates, and hopefully we can see those go down and not continue to go up. I spoke with Brian Wendling at the Saginaw County Drain Office in regards to Sun Valley, Circle Drive, Briarwood, and Greenbrier. He is going to be scheduling a board of determination meeting here, which will take place before the end of March. It'll follow kind of the same process that we had about 4 years ago. We had the same thing go on. Had a board of determination, they determined the same thing. I'm sure they're going to determine these roads need to be fixed and we need to move forward with it. So we would do everything we can to get that going. It will be in the hands of the Saginaw County Drain Office. We passed some resolutions a few months back, so that's coming. Anybody on property or homes on those streets that are affected by those streets, they'll get notification in the mail, and that'll be coming also from the Drain Office. So we are working on that. And then, just in regards really quick to the assessing office and the changes or the policy that was put in place, there's a couple things that were added to an original policy. That is all coming down from the State Tax Commission. They're implementing new assessing requirements. They're going to be auditing our records. They're doing that across the state of Michigan. They've already done Bay County and Genesee County. Our assessor is going to be meeting down at the courthouse with other municipalities throughout Saginaw County to go through some of the stuff. They have a list of things that they're going to be looking at. One of the things that she shared with me is they want to make sure that every municipality or every assessor in the state of Michigan is assessing property at the same level. They're not looking at increasing values or lowering values. They want to make sure that everything on those cards are equal. So if somebody in Frankentrost is assessing a chicken coop and it doesn't have any value, they want to make sure Bridgeport's assessing it. Same thing with a fence or anything, even if it doesn't have value, they want everybody to be consistent straight across the board. So they've got different rules that they're implementing, and that's going to go on as we go along. We had a reappraisal done in 2002. They're not going to reappraise or ask that we do our whole township, but they'll be probably covering about 20% of it, pulling the cards and making sure that we're assessing the same as everybody else. So just kind of give you a little bit, and I can share more as that time goes along. Other than that, thanks to Cheryl too. So we've got a couple more women in Saginaw County running some things, so we're moving a little bit. So I probably shouldn't say that, but I'm going to say it anyway. Okay, thank you.
All set?
I'm set.
Okay. All right, now, something on a little more serious note. You know, we constantly say nice things about nice people and everybody working hard and that kind of thing. It was brought to my attention that I might have slighted someone, I might have overlooked someone. During the holidays, I talked about how nice the lights looked out on Dixie Highway. And I believe I mentioned something about Ruth Ann Evans and her crew, and what a fine job they did put them up and stuff. What I forgot to do, and I'd like to apologize, I did not mention Sam Blaker. Sam has helped us put up those lights every year. We utilize not only him, but his truck with a bucket on it. So with that, Sam, hopefully you would accept my apology for not recognizing you. It was not intended, believe me. I don't want wanna get out too much on this one, but Cheryl, I'm sure she's gonna get into it too, but the May election, they're gonna talk about, increasing the state sales tax so we can do some road funding. I think all of us need to contact our congressmen and senators. We've now got a state budget, the last, maybe Cheryl, you've heard more, but the last I saw was gonna be somewhere around $450 million short. After some of the things that the state legislators and the governor signed, reducing some taxes and those kind of things, now we're falling short. One of the considerations they were talking about was reducing the amount of money schools get, the amount of money cities and townships get. I'm all for fixing our roads. I wish we had more money so we could do that. But I think maybe they need to sit back and take a look at how they're taxing us and how they're spending our money. So I'm going to be talking to Jennifer Gutierrez and a few others, and hopefully we get some answers. Nothing else, I can second everything everybody else said. Is there a motion to adjourn, Jimmy?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the regular meeting of Bridgeport Charter Township.
I'm sorry,
You gonna ask that?
what did I say?
Jennifer?
Did I?
Go on.
Yeah. I'm like,
I don't agree with filling possible either, but.
Okay. They're just two peas in a pod. That's all. Okay, was there a motion to adjourn at the end order?
I made one.
Thank you. Second, meeting adjourned.
Second.